He felt something shifting inside himself, inside reality itself. Then, out of nowhere, Jesus appeared. Mike McKenzie had always lived at full speed. As a husband, father, and real estate superintendent, his world revolved around stress, deadlines, and the constant hustle of daily life. 30 to 35 construction projects at once, each one demanding his attention, each one pulling him in 1,000 different directions. Home wasn't much slower. He was a devoted father, raising 4 kids who were all athletes. He coached their teams, soccer, baseball, football, more than 30 teams over 19 years. He loved his family, but there was never a moment to stop, to breathe, to reflect. And faith, he believed in God. He went to church on Sundays, but it wasn't deep. It was something he held in the background, a tradition rather than a relationship. Then, everything changed. Before we continue, if you're enjoying this story, please take a moment to subscribe to our humble channel. It's completely free and one of the easiest ways to support us. So, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. That way, you'll never miss a new video. Now, let's continue Mike's journey. His appendix had ruptured 3 days earlier, and he didn't know it. By the time he was admitted to the hospital, infection had spread throughout his body. His fever spiked to 104.3 degrees, sweat pouring down his face, his body shutting down one organ at a time. The doctors rushed him toward emergency surgery. The last thing he saw was his wife's worried face disappearing as the doors swung shut behind him. Inside the surgical room, everything was cold. The room's sterile chill wrapped around him like a death shroud. His burning body convulsed from the temperature difference, but that was the least of his concerns. He felt something shifting inside himself, inside reality itself. Then, out of nowhere, Jesus appeared. It happened in an instant. 1 second, he was in a hospital. The next, everything else was gone. The doctors, the machines, the walls, all of it vanished. Jesus stood there, solid, real, more real than anything Mike had ever seen in his life. He wasn't a vision. He wasn't a ghostly figure from a dream. He was there. His robe was white, flowing like it had a life of its own. His skin was darker than expected, almost Middle Eastern in tone, and his hair was wavy brown, resting gently on his shoulders. But it was his eyes that stopped Mike's breath. Deep greenish blue, piercing, powerful, endless. They weren't just looking at him, they were looking into him. Mike felt completely seen, like every secret, every failure, every hidden moment of his life was laid bare before those eyes. And yet, there was no judgment, only pure, overwhelming love. Then Jesus spoke.
I want to answer your prayer.
Mike's mind reeled. His prayer? Then it hit him, the prayer from childhood. When his grandfather died, he had asked God, "Show me heaven." He had forgotten, but Jesus had not. And now he was here to keep that promise. Jesus extended his hand. Mike didn't hesitate. He reached out, and the moment their fingers touched, the world exploded into light. Mike's body was no longer in the hospital. He was standing on a hill, barefoot, the softest, most perfect grass beneath his feet. But this was not earth. The grass wasn't just green, it was alive. Each blade glowed with a faint, ethereal light, and when he stepped, he could feel every single blade pressing against his skin. Then he looked up. The sky stretched forever, filled with colors he had never seen before. Deeper blues, richer purples, golds that pulsed like liquid light. And then he saw the light. It wasn't the sun. It wasn't fire, it was alive. From it, ribbons of glowing energy stretched outward, like living beams of pure love weaving through the landscape. Then one of them moved toward him. It shot across the valley, heading straight for him. For a brief moment, he wondered if he should move. Then it hit him in the forehead. A gentle vibration rippled through his body, warm and electric, filling every cell with life. All the cold, all the pain, all the suffering, erased in an instant. Then the light peeled back the mist, and he saw the city. Below him stretched a massive golden city, wrapped in a veil of mist. The rooftops shimmered like they were made of polished jewels. Towering white spires stretched into the sky, reflecting the celestial glow. At the center, a massive golden dome radiated like the heart of eternity itself. And beyond it, there were smaller golden domes, ivory towers, great archways leading into something unseen. Then the light beams from above struck the trees. And when they did, the entire mountain lit up. Mike stood there, overwhelmed, undone, breathless. Then Jesus spoke again. "It is the glory of the Lord." And in that moment, Mike fell to his knees. The second his knees hit the ground, he was pulled back. His eyes snapped open. The hospital, the lights, the doctors. It felt distant, unreal, like waking from the most vivid dream imaginable. A doctor loomed over him. "Do you know your name?" Mike struggled to speak, his throat dry as sandpaper. "Mike," he rasped, "do you know where you are?" And for a moment he wasn't sure. He had been somewhere else, somewhere more real than this world. And now, he was back. Mike's experience left him forever changed. But now, we want to hear from you. What do you think heaven will be like? What features do you imagine it will have? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this story, please subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an incredible near-death experience like this one. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.